Hi, my name is Jon Kelsen. I teach here at Drisha. This week, Parashat Vayelech, we encounter Moshe at the end of his life. This is a well-known tragic story. Moshe, who has engaged in many mighty exploits since we met him in Parashat Shemot until now. The same Moshe who spoke face-to-face with God, who lived an angelic existence on Mount Sinai for 40 days and 40 nights, who has led the people of Israel out of Egypt and through all their years in the desert, now is facing his mortality at the end of 120 years of life on this earth. This is resonant with the experience that many of us are feeling at this time of year, and which the liturgy itself encourages us to experience. That is to face our own mortality. In the well-known words of the High Holiday liturgy, we are told to acknowledge that we are but flesh and blood, that our existence begins with dust and ends with dust. Adam yisodo me'afar v'sofo le'afar, and our life is but a fleeting shadow, a passing dream, in contrast to the eternality of God. In the face of this encounter with death, or upcoming death, Moshe charges Bnei Israel to record a song. Parashat Ha'azinu, upcoming, consists of a poem, a shira. Moshe says in our parsha, "Va'ata kitu lachem et hashira hazot," or God says to Moshe, but tells him to tell Bnei Israel, "Ata kitu lachem et hashira hazot, v'lamdat Bnei Israel sima b'fihem." Write for yourselves now this shira. What the identity of the shira is debated among the commentators. On the face of it, it seems that the shira referred to is, again, the upcoming poem of Ha'azinu. Interestingly, Chazal, Rabbah, and the Gemara Sanhedrin identified it with the whole Torah. Maimonides is an interesting reading of that on his own right. And I'll note, by the way, as a quick footnote, that Rabbah and the Gemara and Sanhedrin, Chaf Aleph and Bet 21b, notes that even if one receives the Torah in inheritance from one's father, one must write it for oneself. As it says, "Kitu lachem et hashira hazot." I imagine that Rabbah is in part playing off of the context of our Parashat Vayelech, where as Moshe himself is dying and bequeathing the Torah Sivalanu Moshe Mor Shaki Yaakov, nonetheless, each and every person is commanded to write their own Torah, to take hold of the legacy of the Torah for themselves. So the opinion that the shira referred to here as the whole Torah is intriguing for several reasons, but for my purposes here, what strikes me is the description of Torah as a form of song, a form of shira. In what sense is Torah in general shira? Why is it described as such in our context? I would suggest that the fact that we're in the context of Moshe's death is what informs and leads to our understanding of Torah as a song here. When faced with death, Adam yisodo me'afar v'sofo le'afar, with our mortality, there are times, to use the words of Rabbi Nachman of Braslav, where there's in chachma, there's a certain existential unmooring, which leaves us without recourse to chachma, to, I guess some would call it rational thought, to a certain type of argumentation, a certain mode of making our way through this world, through comprehending this world. And in those moments, as Rabbi Nachman, there are times where there's no chachma, but there is a shira, there is a nigun. So as Rabbi Nachman, there are times when chachma is impotent, but a nigun, or a tune, a song, a shira, is potent nonetheless. And I would suggest in our context as well, when Moshe himself is experiencing the upcoming shadow of death coming towards him. Moshe tells Bnei Israel, you know what, in such moments, kitvu lechem et shira hazot. Write for yourselves, each and every one of you, this whole Torah, according to this interpretation, as a song. One is to read Torah not as chachma in this context, but as a shira. And the shira has several characteristics to it. One is the fact that it is easily remembered, sima b'fihem, it is easily recalled, it is accessible to all, but also shira functions on us, it acts upon us in a different way than a chachma does, in a different way than wisdom might. And as such, it offers an avenue for hope, even at times where chachma might not. So as such, Moshe says, "Kitvu lechem shira hazot," sing for yourselves, write for yourselves these songs. Similarly for ourselves, at this time of year, where we encounter the liturgy and are hopefully encountering a sense of our mortality in a helpful way rather than a damaging way, we can tap into the Torah as a song, along with the songs and tunes of the high holidays, and see hope there. Shabbat shalom.